Hey everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Show. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ben.
We're continuing our coverage of Rick and Morty. Ben, what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, we got our first episode not named some weird, silly pun, the Vat of Acid episode. And it was certainly a whirlwind of emotion. And definitely many times throughout the episode caught me off guard as to where it was going.
No doubt on that. So yeah, like you said, this episode is actually called the Vat of Acid episode.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that for a title right off the bat?
I mean, it makes sense as to like unifying kind of idea of the whole episode is that Rick is just like psychologically torturing Morty just to like, teach him not to like talk back, I guess.
Yeah, for real. So I think a running theme of the last few seasons of Rick and Morty is Morty's gained more confidence in his relationship with Rick, and he's wanted to be more of a driving force of the plot, and Rick in this episode does not have it one bit.
Yeah, I think he's setting a little bit of a boundary here in terms of Morty's ability to dictate their adventures or criticize Rick's ideas or anything like that.
Yeah, so
really kind of shows the level of pettiness Rick will go to just like to defend his ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really does. So I guess let's get into that, the aforementioned Vat of Acid. So, Rick and Morty go to seemingly a planet, right? And Rick has to show that his car can automatically pop, can automatically park, which, pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, it's not like, most modern cars here on Earth can do that nowadays or anything.
Right. Marty's not impressed, so they go to meet up with some alien gangsters for a crystal swap, and they get betrayed. But Rick has a plan. Ben, what is his plan?
He tells Morty the plan earlier on before they go in, and Morty, we get a little bit of a preamble from Morty that kind of foreshadows the reaction that we'll see later on, which is the plan is that one of the vats of acid in this Vat of Acid factory is a fake. It's a plant, and if anything goes wrong, they can jump in the fake vat of acid, and there will be trapdoors at the bottom that will release fake bones that will float up to the surface, and they'll each have like oxygen tanks that they'll be able to breathe out of until they wait for the gangsters to leave. Brilliant plan. Nothing can go wrong.
Foolproof. Yeah, I would say.
I have to say it because I don't want Rick to destroy my life.
Exactly. Rick, if you're listening in the multiverse, great plan. One of the best I've seen.
Top 10 at least. Maybe top 5.
At least. So they get betrayed. The gangster's like, you can't kill us. If you kill us, you're dead. And Rick's just immediately like, oh, well, yep, good point. Jumps into the fake vat of acid. Which, I mean, you can understand the plight of the gangsters, right? Like, that's some hardcore shit to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to, like, shoot somebody. Like, that's normal. But to see somebody voluntarily jump into a vat of acid and disintegrate in front of your eyes.
With their grandson.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
So the gangsters don't leave because they're pretty traumatized by Rick and Morty's actions. Understandably so. And they end up staying for a long time to the point where Morty gets pretty fed up and just decides to shoot them. Well, he tries to shoot them and then Rick actually kills them.
Well, I think he shoots one of them, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like the gun was like set to just be powerful enough to burn the ladle. So he shoots one and the guy's like shirt catches on fire. And then Rick takes it and like turns the knob up.
Got it, yeah.
And then shoots the other 3 and kills them.
Did you see this coming a little bit? Because my first inclination coming in was that this was going to be like, because they've been doing a lot of these like lampooning of certain like TV tropes. So I initially thought this was going to be like a lampooning of like 80s mobster movies.
Yeah.
And then once they jumped in the vat and we started getting some of the like monologuing from the gangsters and the storytelling and all of that, I thought that it might be just an entire episode of them having to stay at the bottom of the vat while like Morty gets like more and more like fed up and frustrated, and like the gangsters do like more and more ridiculous shit to like keep them there.
I thought that too, especially with the episode called the Vat of Acid episode. I was like, all right, this is gonna be another like weird concept, but like ultimately like pretty fun and funny, you know, episode where they play with the format of the show. And it was, but
kind
not
of,
the way we thought.
It would have been kind of like a shot at like bottle episodes too.
Oh,
where
yeah.
You, like,
And you know, Community, they love the bottle episode.
Oh yeah, no, all those like, you know, sitcoms that have these like high concept ideas, like a lot of them would do bottle episodes. But yeah, that's kind of where I thought it was going around that point before Morty got so fed up that he jumped out and started killing them after the whole rat incident.
Right. Oh man, so they go back and then they just have a straight up like huge argument about this.
The entire way.
Yeah. Which is pretty fun, where it's like, when did you get this cocky? You just talk to me like this.
Yeah. Again, kind of a little bit self-referential, where we see like the Morty character development from just like kind of wiry, not confident sidekick to like kind of trying to take a little bit of the reins here from Rick.
Right.
And Rick's not having any of it.
Yeah, because in the earlier seasons, wasn't there like a punch card, like out of every 10 adventures, Morty gets to choose
Morty would
the
get
adventure?
to choose one, yeah.
Yeah. Morty doesn't want to wait for that anymore. Well, especially with how badly that one turned out. You know what? Every time Morty tries to take the reins, it turns out pretty bad.
Yeah, he did the other one too with the anime, right?
Oh yeah,
that was so pretty
good.
bad.
Yeah, it was bad for him. A great episode.
Oh, fantastic episode! But yeah, definitely an instance of Morty's decision making going poorly, and then also the one that Rick kept on bringing up to rub in Morty's face from earlier in the season, where Morty wanted a dragon really bad, and that went south pretty quick. So,
oh man! So Rick decides no more. If you want a save point in life, I'll make it, even though I think it's dumb. And he makes Morty the save point. And so Morty goes around just doing whatever he wants because no consequences. What are some of your favorite parts of this little montage?
I think it was very funny that the first thing Morty wanted to do was to pants his math teacher in front of the whole class.
Yeah, and just a real tragic backstory for the math teacher in this episode.
Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah, it's a lot of forlorn love stories going on in this episode.
Yeah, don't change yourself for someone else is what they're getting at, right?
I guess is that taken from this?
Well, for his story, anyways.
Yeah,
I
guess.
Become a blacksmith and get a lot of STDs.
Yeah,
so,
and have
if that's what you want. Yeah.
A really jacked up penis.
Right. Oh man, so that was fun. I liked when he tipped over the old person into the crosswalk and stole their wheelchair. Very fun.
Classic. Yeah, he did the expected of going into the ladies' locker room. I think that's probably where everyone's mind went to immediately, as far as like what a teenage boy would do with no consequences.
14, no consequences, just going in that girl's locker room, no doubt.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of fun hijinks, but then a pretty unexpected part. I didn't see this. I don't know how anyone could have seen this coming. Morty decides instead of going into a strip club, he's going to hold the door open for someone, and he ends up falling in love.
Yeah, I mean, what a great story. You know, probably would have been best romantic comedy of all time, or even just best romance movie of all time if it was fully fleshed out. Yeah, it had everything.
Cannibalism,
packed into like a 2-minute montage. Everything. Yeah.
So yeah, Morty goes with this girl. They fall in love. They crash on a plane to Alaska. They have to eat the dead members of the flight. Morty treks out to, you think to rewind, but instead it's to call 911. They get rescued. Everything's happy. They're home. They're alive. And then our boy Jerry, he ruins it.
Yeah, he's in the episode for all of 3.5 seconds, and he spends that 3.5 seconds fucking everything up, just like you would expect.
Right. Yeah. So they go back. Morty panics, tries to explain the whole situation, presumably to her. Freaks her out. He gets pepper sprayed. He accidentally reloads his save right as he's getting pepper sprayed.
Yep.
Gets pepper sprayed several times over before, pulling a Harambe. Death by Harambe.
Multiple times as well on that, because, again, with the save point, you can't actually die.
Mm-hmm. And with all this, he comes back to Rick. And Rick, he lays down a pretty insane twist. Did you see this coming, Ben?
You know, every time you asked me during this episode if I saw it, I saw nothing coming.
Yeah,
every single twist was just like somebody slapping me from a different side of my face.
Yeah, it was good though. So what Rick did, because he hates time travel, as they established earlier in the season.
Even though in the beginning of this episode when he talks about hating time travel, in the background shot you can actually see a box with stuff in it labeled time travel stuff.
Yeah, that's been in a lot of episodes, right? But
I mean it's even more appropriately in the background shot of that scene where he's specifically talking about how he doesn't do time travel, that it's tacky.
Right. So he hates it. It's tacky. So instead he pulls a Prestige. And he's been transporting Morty to different realities so as to not upset the prime reality. And when he does, the second before Morty gets there, the Morty in this reality dies horrifically. So Morty can take the place of that Morty.
A lot of horrific deaths during this episode. Especially in the post-credit scene as well.
Yep. And so then Morty gets sent to the timeline where everything he's ever done has happened.
Yeah, he begs for there to be consequences because it's the only way for him to save all of his parallel Mortys. And,
Yeah, so everyone's there. AARP's there. They're all protesting him. There's a sign that says, "That's our word," so you know what he did there.
There's one that said cannibalism is a choice, I think.
Yep.
Not really sure what that's all about.
Nope. The girl he fell in love with comes, but then right as she comes, Rick offers him a way out.
What is it?
It is a vat of acid.
Yeah.
So the same exact setup as before. Morty sees what Rick did. He's not happy about it. That is for sure. But he goes through with it. And everyone just agrees that since he died a horrific death in acid, that's that. The bill's been paid.
Yeah, his debt to society. I mean, what else are you supposed to do, right? I mean, it's not like a choice. Like they can't from their perspective, they can't harangue him any further. What are they? They're just gonna come to his funeral and harass people. At that point, you've kind of crossed the final bridge.
Right. And so, two cops aren't quite sure. They go to test it. Rick assures them it's not just heated up Mountain Dew.
Yeah. And he offers them a ladle to test.
Yep. Morty misses shooting it. shoots the cop. The other cop gets splashed and thinks he's immune from
Mm-hmm.
acid.
Doesn't really seem to care that his partner was blasted literally in half right in front of his
Yeah.
face.
I really enjoyed that. Like, yeah, that guy was going through some stuff. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Rick returns Morty to the prime timeline. And that's that for this episode.
What did we learn? Did we learn anything?
I think we learned that Rick and Morty is just like a really fun TV show and will just do whatever it wants. You know? Not that we didn't already know that, but just like more confirmation of it.
I think that also, like, it's kind of been a point where I wouldn't say things are like as predictable, like super predictable, but like usually you can kind of see where an episode's going from relatively early on, and even if it does take some like twists and turns along the way, it kind of follows like some sort of expected semi-linear path. Whereas this episode had like at least 3 major, like, sharp right turns in it.
Right.
So
yeah, it almost feels like the writers of Rick and Morty are absolutely terrified of being predictable nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally understand that. With assholes like us on the internet, going in depth on every single episode, trying to like analyze it. It makes sense that with the fan base that the show has, there's definitely a perpetual need to be unpredictable while still like having the show make cogent narrative sense, which I think this episode did a good job of.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's kind of like, oh boy, they have a lot of episodes under this contract. This show's gonna get real out there.
Yeah, I mean, we still have two more episodes of this season alone, so I'm very, very curious to see where they go with this at this point.
So did you catch the post-credit scene?
Of course, yeah. No, it was just like the morbid cherry on top of a real fucked up episode.
Do you want to explain what happened there?
Sure. So in this in the prime universe or dimension that Rick and Morty end up in at the end for Rick's final lesson, Johnny Carson is still alive and doing his show. And we have the second SWAT cop who survived what he thought was acid and was, about to go and make a killing being the impervious to acid guy. He somehow gets a booking on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Yeah, Johnny Carson, born in 1925, might I add.
I mean, that's you can. There's still 95-year-olds. I mean, there's still 95-year-olds kicking it out there, and yeah, it definitely seemed like the Johnny Carson the show was very much phoning it in. So, which I think you would have.
How would Johnny Carson do with late night these days with Zoom and everything? A 95-year-old trying to figure this out. Whew, I wish this was the reality we lived in.
I mean, I'm sure you just have a live-in producer, right, and just like have them set it up for it. Just they sit in this chair and do your show.
Yeah, it's like if I had a wish to switch timelines, I would wish everything the same, including the pandemic, but also a 95-year-old Johnny Carson trying to figure out technology.
Also, that Rocky Road switcheroo, definitely, I think, an improvement.
Yeah, right. When he said that, I was like, "Ooh, that sounds great."
Yeah. And what was the other difference? There's another difference, right?
Oh, was there?
Yeah. Whatever. I think all of them were good.
Yeah.
Oh, I said no 9/11. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, no 9/11. Oh, especially after the last episode.
Yeah.
Then Rick and Morty could have run into those buildings guilt-free,
Yeah, two out of 3 episodes so far since the mid-season break have referenced 9/11 in some way, so that's always good.
Do you think this is to protest them taking the 9/11 joke out of the pilot of Community on Netflix?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Apparently, that's what I've been reading today.
I mean, I haven't watched it yet on Netflix. I've only watched it on Hulu, so.
Same, yeah. I haven't watched the I've only watched it on DVD and on Hulu. I've never watched the pilot on Netflix, so I might go back just to see.
Yeah, I'm curious how they kind of figure that out. But yeah, so the episode ends with the cop lowering himself into acid, realizing very quickly he's not actually impervious to acid, and just like dying in a very horrific way on national television.
Slowly too.
Yeah, slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, what did we learn? Even if you think you're impervious to acid, maybe don't try it.
I mean, if you're gonna try it, I think you try it at home. Just like do a quick like dip of the finger, dip of the toe.
Yeah. Put on your thigh, maybe. Just like
I mean, Yeah, there's got to be some way to test it that would require you to, at the very least, sustain minimal serious and sustained injuries, as opposed to dying horrifically on national TV. Because not only is that awful, it's like very embarrassing for your family probably too.
Yeah, they're forever known as the not impervious to acid guy who died on national TV. He's relative.
Yeah, imagine the memes.
Oh, so many. Jesus.
Yeah.
2020, what you thought versus 2020.
Yep. Oh man, perfect meme template. Oh, Reddit would go crazy for like 4 days.
They would. Oh man. So, anything else you want to add about the Vat of Acid episode?
No, I think it was a great episode. Really, really great concept. Really well executed. Really took you on a ride, and I was with it the whole time. I thought the final turnaround at the end was really good, really well executed. We also got our second reference this half of the season to a sitting member of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, kind of weird, but I'll allow it.
Maybe by the end of the season we'll have referenced all of them. I don't know. We'll see.
Something to keep track of going forward. Ben, where can they find you online if they want to give you a follow?
You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on I don't know. I'll pretend like maybe like Friendster. I don't know if Friendster is.
I don't think it's a thing anymore, unfortunately. And I also tried to sign into my MySpace a little while ago, and it did not work. So I don't know if I just deleted my MySpace or if I have the wrong login info.
Well, if you have a save point from 2008, you can click that button, go back, check me out on Friendster. Otherwise, Twitter and Instagram at Ben Sharon.
Awesome. Follow Ben there. You can follow me on Twitter at TheFakeBMar. That's BMARR. You can follow the channel on Twitter at WGEverything, on Instagram at WickedGetEverything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/WickedEverything, on TikTok, search WickedGetEverything. And make sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, to subscribe, because we get more recaps of Rick and Morty coming soon, as well as a Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast called The Sunnydale Review and Better Radio. And another show with Ben and I hosting that hopefully when we record it this time, it won't get messed up, called We Hate Reality. So,
yeah.
So we have a lot of stuff coming, and I mean, what else are you going to do? You're just sitting inside, pandemic happening. Listen to us talk about television. Why not?
Well, I mean, maybe by the time our new podcast comes out, the quarantine might be over. So
that's true. All right. Well, we'll put a safe point here, and if it is, you can come back and let us know in the comments down below. See you guys next time. Later. Oh wait. Shout out Brian Wong. Almost forgot. I don't think he listens to these, but if you do, Brian, shout out to you, man.